Hi, good morning, third grade friends. It's Miss Lee, and today is, I think it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, April 22nd. Today we are going to continue working with words that um, might be hard to understand. So we're going to be using context clues to figure out what the meaning of words are. So the first thing that I want us to notice is that we're going to read a realistic fiction text. It's going to be very important to notice the words that the author uses to describe the places and the events that happen. Remember to use context clues to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words and phrases, or words or phrases that are used in an unusual way. Let's take a look at the title of this passage, Yosemite Morning by Hillary. Excuse me. We found it! As you're reading, let's look inside and around and beyond these words to figure out what they mean. We have the word massive, boulders, exploration, granite. Now, I would like to remind you to pause the video at this time if you do not have your reading work in front of you for today's lesson, and you should also have a pencil. If you don't have that, pause the video now and go get it. Come right back. So we're going to look up the word meanings for massive. I'm just going to dictionary.com and I'm typing in the word that I want to look up. So anytime you need to look up the meaning of a word, you can do that on a phone or on a computer. So let's type in the word massive. And it pulls up telling us that the word massive is a large mass. It means bulky, weighty, or heavy, or it's impressively large. It is just a very, very huge object. So the word massive is just another word for large. So let's take a look at the word boulders. Boulders. Boulders are round, much worn mass of rock. So if I were to go up here and look up a boulder, and remember you can Google images to help you understand the meaning of words. That's what good readers do. So let's look up boulders. And this is what a boulder looks like. It's just a very large, massive rock. One of the next words is exploration. So let's go back to the dictionary. Exploration. Whoops. Still on images. Exploration is the act of traveling through an unfamiliar area. So when you explore something, you are finding new things. And the word granite. Now, granite is a very hard, granular, crystalline, igneous rock consisting mainly of quartz, mica, feldspar, and often it's used as a building stone. So if we look at images of granite, let's take a look. Granite. What granite looks like. This is what granite looks like. A lot of times you'll see granite on countertops. It's often used in as a building material. So this is what granite looks like. Very beautiful. So now we have some ideas of what some of these words mean as you read through the text, Yosemite Morning. Now take a look. We have a few paragraphs here. As you're reading, please take note of the different photographs that you see and take those into consideration to help understand the meaning of the text. Before you get started on reading, I want us to look at a couple of words, some compound words. In paragraph 1, if you look carefully, you'll see the word snowball. Go ahead and circle the word snowball. Here we go, snowball. Snowball is a compound word. That means two words put together to make a new word. So we have the word snow and the word ball. A ball made of snow is a snowball. And let's take a look at paragraph 3. Let's find another compound word. I want you to take a moment to look for the compound word by yourself. See if you can circle the compound word. Now, some of you might say, new fallen. Yes, that is two words, but it is not one word because it is hyphenated. So new fallen is not a good example of a compound word. It is not a compound word. But if we look for the word, oh, nope, it's in paragraph 2, snowbank. There we go, there it is, snowbank. We know what snow is, that's one word, and we know what bank is. But if we put together the two words, snowbank, we have a new meaning, which means a pile of snow. I want you to remember to think about these compound words as you are trying to put together the meaning of a word. And remember that context clues can help you to figure out what a compound word means. So go ahead right now and pause the video so that you can read Yosemite Morning. And once you're finished, you can start the video again and we'll talk about the questions. Okay, on page, whoops, did not mean to do that. There we go. On page 210, we'll see, 211, we will see that we have some questions to go over. So the think portion says to read this sentence from paragraph 1. What do the words quilt of white mean in this sentence? Think carefully as you read. Fresh snow has fallen overnight and blankets the ground. The rocks and the massive boulders with a silent quilt of white. Does it literally mean a warm blanket is on the rocks and the boulders outside? Does it mean a layer of snow? Does it mean slippery ice? Does it mean pebbles and dust? Let's take into consideration the context clues that are used in this sentence to help us figure out the meaning of silent quilt of white. Silent means making no sound. Quilt is a type of blanket. White is the color white. But think, quilt. Is there really a warm blanket on top of the rocks and the boulders? Notice the word fresh snow, fallen, and blankets the ground. Blanket is the same word as a quilt. A quilt is a blanket. So the author here is using non-literal language to help you understand or visualize what the snow looks like. If you know what a blanket is, and if you know what a quilt is, it helps you to see fresh snow covering the rocks and the boulders. So here you will choose your answer. Then part A. Which sentence from paragraph 1 for number 2 I'm sorry, my kids are running in the background. Read this sentence from paragraph 1 about the author's brother. When I turn around, he is standing there with his head covered in a thick crown of snow. What does this sentence really mean? Read all of your answer choices and remember, he doesn't really have a thick crown of snow like a king's crown on his head. Part B is to underline the 2 details from paragraph 1 that help you to know the correct answer in part A. So you should underline 2 details, and it should have to do with a thick crown of snow on his head. Go ahead and pause your video and make sure you have completed those sections before moving on. Number 3, I pull my foot out, finally, only to find that it's just my sock has escaped. My boot is still buried. Boot is buried. What happened to the narrator? Read your answer choices to find the correct answer. Pause the video until you have finished. Number 4, in a flash, she is gone. In a flash shows that the deer runs what? Read your answer choices. Number 5, in the woods, her white tail waves goodbye. Choose what the author really means by her white tail waves goodbye. After you have finished, go on to number 6. What does the word famished mean in paragraph 5? So you should go back to paragraph 5 in the story, find the word famished, and read that sentence to help you understand famished. Read the next sentence also to help you understand about the word famished. And choose your answer for number 6. Next, read these 2 sentences from the story. Both use non-literal ways. Write what you think each sentence really means. The air smells green and icy. Write the real meaning here. What does the air really smell like? Later we will take them into the woods and show them the silence. What does the author really mean? Once you have finished, move on to number 8. This is your short response. The author describes several things the children saw in Yosemite. Which description did you like the most? You need to write down what you liked the most. In your answer, include examples of how the author used both literal and non-literal word meanings. Literal means the real meaning. Non-literal means they say something that really means something different. After you finish your short answer question, make sure you answer the learning target. So it wants to know how using literal and non-literal, how using non-literal meanings of a word can help the author make writing more interesting for you to read. You'll put your answer here. There's no right or wrong answer, but you should talk about how the author uses non-literal meanings to make writing more interesting. Now, your mystery word for today for reading